This meeting is being transcribed. You are not allowed to
Commissioners
unmute.
have had
To
the
raise your
opportunity
hand,
to
press
review the
star
agenda and
5.
have no conflicts requiring recusal or abstention. Roll call. Commissioner McPherson?
Here.
Commissioner Asaki?
Here. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, approval of the agenda? So moved. Second. All in favor, any discussion? Say aye. 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 Carries. Okay, we'll go to public comments. Anybody wishing to speak? We'll give you 3 minutes. And the first person we'll have is Laura Fidel.
It's actually Greg Fidel.
Yeah, they got Laura written out here, so.
Oh, I was told to sign the inside of that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, totally fine.
You got to, yeah, all right. Hey, go ahead, Greg, you have the floor.
Yep. Just have some pictures
We have a
too.
couple of things too.
I've timed this, it's 3 minutes, so. My name is Greg Fidel, and I live at 9420 Allen Road, Clarkson, Michigan, 48348. I was here over a year ago to speak at the RCOC about the 4 quadrants of the intersection of Radley Lake and Allen Roads. And it's been 2 years since my first online request. And to this date, there has been nothing physically done to the intersection right-of-ways to mitigate the issues I have repeatedly addressed. It is now time for me to speak to the 3 commissioners to ask. All the details are far too involved to fit in a 3-minute statement. However, please know I have FOIA'd the RCOC and gone through over 600 pages of emails, maps, photos, past complaints, and various other documents that support my beliefs. There is no mystery about what has happened. Large swaths of RCOC right-of-ways at the intersection have been filled by multiple residents. Stations have been raised and water courses have been altered. These unpermitted alterations include the blocking of a national wetland inventory, stormwater storage area, by a resident who also happens to be an RCOC employee with a long history of unpermitted actions that most present in this room have intimate knowledge. I hope to share this knowledge with the board as it is quite enlightening. The effects of these alterations have a negative impact on the functioning of Allen Road and the neighborhood in general. Currently, Daryl Hyde and Gary Petrowitz have put forth a solution that is not equitable for all residents involved, favors an RCOC employee, and does not reestablish the damaged stormwater storage area. Complete removal of the elevated land on the right-of-ways and the restoration of the integrated NWI stormwater storage area is the only solution that would reverse the bad precedent that was set. It would return the natural flow and drainage of stormwater to its previous ecosystem and ensure that permitting rules are adhered to properly by all residents. It also returns the right-of-ways to allow culverts which were engineered and installed in 1984 to function as designed. Closing, I think it is time for the 3 board members to provide oversight in the handling of this matter to ensure that decisions that affect my neighborhood and property are, quote, consistent with the drainage requirements and the character of the use of land adjoining the highways and other requirements of public interest, end quote. This is from the RCOC's own permit rules, specifications, and guidelines. I have a folder for each of the commissioners, and I'm happy to meet at your convenience to discuss this in detail. Thank you in advance for your attention to this matter.
You hold that picture up hard? One at a time, yeah. So that's in front of your house?
This is our property after a rain. This is our property in between rains.
Do you know how much rainfall?
Moderate, anything after moderate.
I've videoed every rainfall for the last year.
We have taken silt samples every rainfall. We have yards and yards of silt on our property. And the people here are aware of it. This is nothing new.
Your neighbor raise their land up or something, or?
There's 3 berms,
Multiple,
and the most offending berm belongs to an RCOC employee. And we have FOIA'd, and there are emails, it's well known, there's no secret. The administrators and the management of the RCOC have gone back and forth about this berm. They tried to ditch it. He filled it in. You know, I mean, they're back and forth. He's filling it again. Oh, we need to send, you know, we need to treat him like any other citizen. Well, that berm still stands. And this is what's happening.
really good explanation in here with some documentation.
And then, there's been no studies, what they can do to fix it, or what you can do on your property to fix it, or?
I've done
We did.
various things to fix my property, including raise my garage.
And we raised our garage because it was coming close to the garage. And Greg was here last year talking about it.
You've been a resident there for how long?
17 years.
17 years.
And I have neighbors, one of which there's a letter in here, who's been there longer, since 1997. Everyone involved has been there decades and can attest to.
And the answer to you, what was the answer for the road commission on what they can do or can't do?
Be patient.
Be patient, we'll get to it. And then when I forwarded the documents and saw that the situation has been going on for over a decade with the same people here and the same employee with private meetings, extended preferences. So
there's been no solution recommended by the RCOC?
well,
She didn't take it
okay,
back.
do you have all three here?
We're down to 2 commissioners.
I'm sorry, what was that last question?
Has there been a solution recommended by the RCOC?
Yes, and it's not, I think, because it allows everyone who's done unpermitted work to just have a ditch put on top of the elevated land. And there's an NWI wetland stormwater storage that was blocked. So the water that used to settle upstream from my house and the houses along one quadrant of the intersection, the water is now moved to us. Now, they might say, oh, it's gonna be, you should have known it long ago. Well, it wasn't until they changed a culvert at the intersection, like 2022,
September 20th.
that everyone in the neighborhood said, what's going on? And then when I did the research, I'm like, well, wait a minute. We're now taking on water from our quadrant is taking on water from all three.
How big is your land?
That's 1 acre. And I'm the smallest piece of land out of the people who have burned up.
And the cost for you to fix it was, you're told
Oh,
how to
and-
fix it.
and- well, the
I mean,
cost
how much would you say?
for
For you to fix the problem on your end?
I can't.
There's no fixing it on our end.
So
The blockages have to come down. How are we gonna fix it on our end? We could berm up and flood out the road.
yeah,
That would be our solution. That's
Right.
the only solution we have.
and if you look at the images that we've given you, you can see Allen Road, where we live in front of our house, is barely functional in any rain. And also, I pulled up the Michigan.gov Pacer thing, all red on Allen Road from south of Bradley Lake Road. My neighbors are all at wit's ends. And
We appreciate you coming, and this is the first that was brought to my attention.
absolutely.
And I will look at it, I'll read this, and I will get back with you.
Thank you so much.
You're only allowed to have 3 minutes, we'll let you go a bit longer,
Thank you very much.
but, hopefully we'll figure something out.
Yeah, this is not sustainable. Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak under public discussion? Kenneth Horn is not here?
Planning on speaking.
But,
I wasn't planning on speaking. I have the proposed abandonment, which is next on the agenda.
okay, go to minutes of the May 22nd, 2025, meeting. Need a motion to approve the minutes as, written.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item number, 6, we're going to disbursements. A, B, and C. Any questions on, the bills to be paid?
So moved.
Support? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, permits.
Permits, is recommended the board approve the permits as submitted by staff.
So moved.
Second, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None being, motion carries. Item number, 8.
Is recommended the board approve the collective bargaining agreement with the Skilled Foreman Association of the Technical, Professional, and Office Workers Association of Michigan.
So moved.
Second, any discussion? So how many times did they meet, and this is what they come up with? Is anybody here from the bargaining committee, or?
They're here, ready to sign.
Okay. And how many times with the contract did you guys sit down and negotiate?
We met, we had one session and it was a very productive session and addressed the issues and concerns they had.
And how many bargaining employees are in this unit?
5?
Fine. Okay. You need to go over what's here, or, it's black and white here, correct?
Yep.
Okay, line up, guys.
We need a motion to approve it first.
Approve it first.
The discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Line up.
Hope you got a picture of it in front of me. Good job, guys. Fine. Item number 9.
Is recommended the board approve abandonment of Lakesview Boulevard in the township of Oxford, as noted in your packet.
So moved.
Your second? Second. Discussion. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. A roll call with a roll call?
Roll call.
Commissioner, McPherson,
Yes.
Commissioner Asaki.
Item number 10.
Is recommended the board declare the petition for Independence Valley SAD number 10058 be invalid.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? None being. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Yes, Nandine, motion carries. Item number 11.
To A and B, Chairman. It's recommended the board approve the deeds and easements for recording.
So moved. Second. Any discussion? None being, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None being, motion carries. Item number 12.
It's recommended the board approve the determination of just compensation and good faith offer to purchase as noted in herein.
Second. Any discussion? None being, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13. 13.
It's recommended that the board accept the right-of-way for the future New Hudson Drive East.
Second. Any discussion? None being, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 14.
It's recommended that the board approve the bridge load posting for Snell Road over Stony Creek in the Charter Township of Oakland.
So moved. Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None being, motion carried. Item number 15.
Everyone can do A through E on this one. It is recommended that the board approve the road closures as noted.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None being, motion carries. Item number 16.
It is recommended that the board approve the budget transfer.
So moved. Second, discussion. Is this a yearly thing we do, or is this midterm we're doing this?
Yeah, mainly, we had our budget hearings for next year, and some of the items discussed were things that were needs that were needed to be taken care of a little sooner.
Okay. All right, I like seeing that, for improving the equipment, so thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None being, motion carries. Item number 17.
It is recommended that the board approve the 2025 curb sweeping program, contract authorization for the curb sweeping program.
So moved. Second, any discussion?
How many people bid on this project, do we know?
I'd have to go back and look because it's a 3-year contract, but usually we get about, for sweeping about 3, I believe. I can confirm that for you.
Usually it says on here.
Well, again, this is an authorization,
Okay.
so the contract's already in place. What this is doing is adding miles for the subdivisions that have been developed in South Line and everything like that. When we're accepting those, they get put in there and we have to add to the
All right.
contract.
No need to talk. I was just.
Okay.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Or aye, opposed, motion carries. Item number 18A, and do we gotta do A and B or? Okay. A and B.
It is recommended the board approve the local cost participation agreements.
So moved. Second, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? None being, motion carries. Item number 19.
It is recommended the board approve the project task orders as listed.
So moved. Second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Item number 20.
We can do A and B as well here. It is recommended the board approve the contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation.
Second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None being, motion carries. Item number 21.
21A, RCOC took bids for mower parts, annual estimated quantities It is recommended the board split the bid and award to the two low bidders being at specifications, Weingart Supply of Farmington Hills, Michigan, for 8 line items in the amount of $30,000, $54.50, and LaCal Equipment Company out of Jackson Center, Ohio, for 2 line items in the amount of $1,142, for a total bid in the amount of $31,196.50.
So moved. Second, any discussion? Yes. How long do we keep the stuff for?
Keep it.
I mean, is there equipment out there to provide or just parts?
No, this is parts. We keep it until we use it.
Yeah. I mean, do we have like,
ordered it as needed.
do we have like a, 2 weeks back supply, a year back supply, a 6 month?
It's not a year. We ordered as we need it. So every inventory item has a recommended inventory quantity. So once we go under that amount, we'll order new to replace it. So it kind of varies how much we have, but
Yeah, 'cause I heard when I talk with the employees that sometimes they keep a pretty stream, not in that department, but other areas where the warehouse ain't always stocked up. It's like, I don't want to get in that situation where they go to do something and it ain't there to get the equipment or supplies.
right. If they're saying we don't have stock certain items in inventory, they need to get with us, because I'd be interested in that, because we go to great trouble to order according to exactly what the superintendent projects for that year.
Yeah.
So when you see AEQ after our items, like this one, it's annual estimated quantities. So we estimate for the whole year.
Yeah.
And then we buy as needed. So typically, if they've got a project coming up, their supervision knows about it and says, we need 200 of these on hand, or,
Okay.
we'll know about it. And so if there's that problem, have them get with me because I can take care of that or straighten it out.
Right.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None being, motion carries. Item number 22. 21B, I'm sorry.
RCOC took bids for Travis Road gravel approach paving. It is recommended that the board award the proposal to the sole bidder meeting specifications, Mr. Asphalt Services out of Leslie, Michigan, and the proposal amount of $37,877.
So moved. Second discussion. How come there's only one bidder?
Because only one person bid. I mean, it's a small project. You're not gonna get ASAS or Cadillac or Ajax doing it. They're on that stuff.
And then that's went out on Mitten?
Yeah, these go advertised. I mean, Mary can probably.
We put them out on Mitten and they're advertised. Cam, Dodge.
Yeah,
our
website.
Our website, the county road website, I think, or I'm not sure. Yeah. So,
And this is at prevailing wage rates too?
no, this is a maintenance project.
Right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye, against, none being, motion carries. Item number 21C.
RCOC took bids for the 2025 culvert liner under General Motors Road. It is recommended that the board approve the sole meeting specifications, DVM Utilities Incorporated out of Sterling Heights, Michigan, for the total amount of $59,500.
So moved. Second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, none being, motion carries. Item number 22.
It's recommended that the board approve the traffic control order.
Second. Any discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. 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 Opposed, none being, motion carries. Item number 23.
It is recommended that the board refer the litigation to our legal department.
Second discussion. So, looks like somebody ran into the grader or the grader ran over them.
Yeah, there was a collision. I don't want to prejudice our position, obviously, but, well, assuming that the board refers it to our department, well, that'll be appropriate. Stating, in response, to obviously assert our defense of governmental immunity. The employee, I should tell you that the employee was also named, so you may see something coming subsequent once the employee is served, because they can, under our policy procedures, request that we defend them. So you'll probably see that coming as well.
And this was in one of the big trucks, small trucks.
Great.
So we had cameras in it and all that.
To the employee's benefit.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 24.
Presentation, we have Jane Graham from Humble Rock and Clark here.
Thank you for having me today. I'd like to introduce or reintroduce myself to the board. We've talked a few times over the past several years. I'm Jane Graham from Humble Rock and Clark, a registered architect. I started working with RCOC 30 years ago on the original Traffic Operations Center and have been involved in every iteration of the co-location and new TOC planning since then. I also spent 4 years as a facility manager with General Motors and have been an operations director for the Simon Property Group. I share that information with you today so that you understand kind of my background and the depth of knowledge I have regarding what the new building was intended to do and how we kind of got to this point with the group in the room here. In your board packages, you've got a lot of information that we prepared over the past few weeks regarding the executive office building. What I'd like to do today is just kind of go over a brief summary, a few points, and then when I'm all done, answer any questions you might have regarding the material in your packet. So the board's request was to evaluate the feasibility and financial cost of renovating the EOB, which is the County Executive Office Building, to the standards and specifications that have been written for the RCOC new office building that's currently under contract, Frank Rewald and Sons. On May 28th, RCOC and HRC representatives, including myself and people in this room, visited the EOB, and we were given a tour of the building by Oakland County facility personnel. To assist in our evaluation, Oakland County was able to provide us with the original 1967 plan set and the 2022 Plan Moran building assessment document that was done on behalf of Oakland County. The county was not able to provide us with renovation drawings from 2006. So as I just mentioned, the EOB was constructed in 1967, making it 58 years old at this time. It underwent a significant, very significant renovation in 2006. It appears from the visual condition of the building, the 2006 renovation included replacing interior finishes, they replaced the exterior windows, and they replaced or refurbished major mechanical and electrical systems and equipment throughout that building. The interior of the EOB is well maintained and in very, very nice condition. But as I just noted, it's almost 60 years old at this point, and the electrical mechanical systems are 19 years old. So in your board package, you'll find the information that we prepared for you. There's an evaluation of the executive office building memo to you. There's a conceptual cost opinion for the renovations. And then RCOC Financial has prepared information for you regarding costs related to the new building this 4-month delay, expenses, monies still owed, and current contract costs to Frank Rehwald and Sons. To renovate the executive office building to the RCOC specifications that were written for the new building would include replacing most interior walls, ceilings, and finishes, replacing electrical power and lighting systems, replacing plumbing fixtures in the bathrooms and in the lunchrooms, replacing the mechanical HVAC distribution ductwork because our interior space would be different. So you're running ducts to different office locations, different conference room locations. Replacing the exterior windows, replacing the site water main and underground electrical feed because those are currently owned and operated by Oakland County. And when they get rid of that building, when they sell that building, they want the owner off of their utility system. And then we would have associated site work and the stormwater management impact of doing any new site work on that property. As part of the renovation scope, the building also needs to have a environmental material survey done so that any hazardous materials that might be found could be properly removed. And the cost to remediate a building sometimes can be significant. And it's done all the time, but you have to have the money to do it. You have to be able to plan on that as part of your project. So in your package, I want to explain how we came up with these costs. Our cost opinion is based upon a number of items. One is reviewing that Plant Moran report because they had given Oakland County dollars to do like 1 to 5 year fixes, 5 to 7, 7 to 10, things like that. And there were some long-term maintenance costs in there that if Oakland County didn't stay in the building and do it, RCOC would inherit those costs. I also used 2025 RS Means Commercial Renovation Cost Guide, which helps you work out pricing on like a square foot basis. And we also have the current costs for the materials and finishes and things that were going into the new building because we have Rehwald's schedule of values for those items. And then lastly, I looked at Cushman and Wakefield's office tenant fit-up square foot data for the Metro Detroit area. They publish numbers across the country. They collect this data on square foot costs for tenant fit-up. And that's when you're building out the interior of a building for tenants. And they update it quite frequently. I grabbed their May data. And so that has also been used in the spreadsheet in front of you in your package. So based on the financial data that we've provided with you, the estimated cost to purchase and renovate the EOB, the RCOC's specifications, is $45.9 million in 2025 money. That's current. Versus the contract cost we have right now with Rehwald for $36.9 million on the new building. Additionally, that $45.9 million does not include project expenses paid or due through May 31st, which is $4.27 million. Legal costs that would be incurred for the termination of the existing contract with Rehwald and Sons, which could be the balance of $34 million on the contract. And then we have extended TOC rent costs, because if we went with the EOB, the TOC would have to stay in its current location for at least 2 more years, and that's $274,000 additional. And then we have escalation costs. Remember, our numbers are 2025. By the time a contractor looks at bids and then gets into the renovation of the EOB, and RCOC moves in 2029, 2020, or 2030, you're probably looking at $8.5 million in escalated costs at that point for the project. We also have the current 4-month delay, which has already been estimated at $2 million. And then finally, we have these deferred maintenance costs that, some of them were the ones that Plant Moran had recommended, where if RCOC moves in, let's say you move in 2030, you still have other things that you're going to have to deal with long-term, like a new roof, for example. And in your package, we have an outline of what those deferred and, repair update costs would be of $3.56 million. So in summary, the EOB option is more costly than the new building. And primarily, it also doesn't accomplish what we all set out to do in the first place. It doesn't consolidate RCOC staff and departments, which was the primary goal of being on the other site with their staff. The EOB option, in fact, moves directors and leadership that are currently at the PVR down the street to the EOB. So we're even separating, we're separating more people. So hopefully you've had time to kind of go through our little narrative there. And I'd like to answer any questions that you might have on the information in front of you.
Do you have any questions, Joe?
So who actually gave the farm? The Humble Rock?
Yes.
The cost?
Yep.
You didn't consult with anybody?
No.
So you just took the Plant Moran?
Plant Moran, RS Means. Now, remember, with all due respect, we had a short period to do this. Sure. So I was trying to use the most common industry sources that I could come up with. And one of them, of course, had Rewald's costs right in front of us. That was very valuable. And then, as I mentioned, RS Means, the real estate data that is available regarding square foot tenant fit up costs. And then in our estimate, we also added the things that were kind of unique to this building that you wouldn't find in tenant fit up. Like we had the ballistic materials in the lobby. This building has a very, very large generator. You're talking a 750 kW generator. That's a very expensive item, but all of that we had included in the Rewald contract. We were getting that. So not only do you have your interior square foot costs, which are your drywall, your carpet, your ceiling, you've got these other unique costs. So in your spreadsheet, we itemized those out.
You mentioned the heating and cooling system.
Yep.
It not being water cooled, or it being water cooled was expensive.
What they've got up, it's in a penthouse. It's in a penthouse at the EOB, and then some of the equipment is in the basement.
Just a chiller unit or HVAC?
It's both.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, in our estimate, we've left that. We said, okay, we're going to keep this equipment. It will need some longer term service. Even Plant Moran had recommended the chiller be replaced in X number of years. So I show that line item in there. There's nothing wrong with using those mechanicals. It's more maintenance than what we would have had with just a forced air system, because you've got water treatment for the boiler. You've got, remember, I forgot to mention too, we have a fire pump in this building. We don't have a fire pump in the new
fire pump
RCOC building.
There's one fire pump.
Yep. There's one fire pump. And that fire pump appears to be original. At least back to the 2006 renovation. And they did a heck of a job in 2006. But these things are going to wear out over time. And so RCOC has to be saying to yourselves, okay, this is what I have. This has to be fixed in the future. Let's plan this in the budget. So we try to make that comparison in your spreadsheets there. There's one that shows just the cost to renovate the building, and then there's the separate spreadsheet that shows I guess I'll call them financial impacts of if the contract doesn't go forward, then, this, and this has to be addressed. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your report in a timely manner.
Thanks for having me.
I just want to do it's in there in the cost of things, but we also have to run new fiber to that building from our existing facilities, which is also a significant cost. Yeah, it's in the cost.
Any other topics need to be discussed about this EOB building? And you had the, sheriff department walk with you too through the building at the same time? And just Ed Joss and his team? Yeah.
Ed Joss's facilities.
Well, we had William Stonehouse from facilities and, Paul Zackos.
Paul, okay. All right, thank you.
Do we have any direction at this point, what you want staff to do at this point?
Right now, I think we'll have to do a special meeting, obviously, for the next 30 days. But when 30 days comes up, I think I think the next meeting is after the 30 days, correct?
Correct.
So I think we'll have to do a special meeting.
Yeah, the 30-day amendment says that work is to resume Monday, June 23rd, or recently thereafter.
Yeah, so we'll have to do a special meeting for it.
Monday, June 23rd?
Then with one is Friday the 20th, but that didn't seem to make sense. Monday seemed to make a lot more sense to put in there, plus we had a holiday, so I got you a few extra days.
Okay, go to item number 25, new business. The first new business is a resolution for Dennis Kohler. No, not that. All right. New business, Nancy vacated her seat, so now we have to appoint somebody to the Parks and Rec Commission to fill that seat. So we have a motion to appoint a new trustee to that position.
I'll have a motion. Motion will be to nominate Eric McPherson to fill the vacated seat of Nancy Coles
And
for the term.
all right, and I'll second that motion. And that term's from what date to what date? Anybody else? Sure. Goes to the,
Here, I can help. I'm
Hi,
watching. Hi. Chairman McPherson, that's every 2 years when board members change, then we re-elect chairman, vice chair, and the parks representative.
okay. So that'll be next year we do that, or the year following?
They'll be next year.
All right, thank you. All in favor, say, any discussion on the appointment of the Parks and Rec Commission? No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Yeah. All right, any other new business? I have some new business. We asked about we gave some stuff to Dennis about the morale. And I'm wondering if anybody's taken any action on approving the morale from department heads to the rank and file. Is there any communication going on, or we don't feel we have a morale problem?
I can tell you, I talked to the individual that you spoke with about trees. I did have a meeting with him one-on-one, and he understands why we do what we do. And, you know, his opinion was that he wants to keep everything in-house, but he knows it's not possible economically. When I shared some more information with him, he was very understanding of why the agency does what we do with the 18-inch trees. So he thanked me for the conversation. It was about a half hour, 40 minutes, and thanked me for the explanation.
And I'll jump in here, Chairman McPherson. I've had Leanne go through all that. We've categorized them. I've shared those with the directors, and we'll have more conversations. But I will share with you that I'll bet you 70%, 80% have to do with things that are connected with the collective bargaining agreement.
So, but I will share when I get back. I will sit down with you or both of you and we can go through them.
So we should have the negotiations done by July for August.
Well, we hope so. I know I'll let Pam elaborate a little bit more, but there's some challenges, and I think I've even mentioned to you some of those. I don't want to mention those in a public meeting, but there's some challenges that we have to talk about. So, but that's best left to a closed session with you and Commissioner Asaki.
All right, so August, hopefully we'll have something in place to boost the morale of this road commission.
Well, I will say we're all concerned about that, but again, let's sit down and go through things. There are things that are common threads that we've heard before, but it's best if, whether it's in closed session, that we go through it where we have the opportunity to talk about them.
Yeah, Dennis, it's just, if it's a problem, I guess there's some opinion involved in that, right? That always gets worse. You know what I'm saying? It's just, well, never gets better, right? So you try to come up with some type of solution, whatever it may be, so it just doesn't get worse. That's all. That's all.
No, Commissioner Asaki, nobody does. I've been here a while, so, there's some common themes, and hopefully I can share some of that with you. Yeah, we've been through some rough times as far as financially, some things we had to cut back on. So I think it's more about getting the communication out. One of the things I'll say is there's a couple of folks were talking about our medical costs, what their copays are. That's by state statute. We have no choice on that. That was put in law. So maybe we or I need to do a better job of getting that word out.
Yeah, that could help.
All right. Any other new business?
Thanks, Dennis.
You're welcome.
I'll second it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.